Hey everybody. Part of being a full-time RVer is dealing with issues like this one right here. I'm anticipating that I've picked up some crappy fuel somewhere, so I'm going to go ahead and tear the carburetor out. Let's get started. It really shouldn't be that big of a deal. Of course, I need the right bit. These carburetors are pretty simple carburetors. So the first thing I'm going to do is shut the vented cap off to help eliminate some fluid spill. So once you get the cover off, of course, you've got the air cleaner cover, and you got a couple of filters, which I just happened to replace the other day, hoping that might have solved some of my issue. Got a bolt here. So these are 8mm nuts and bolts. Take these off. Jazz is chasing birds. I have to. Alright, so this should slip off. Gasket right here, obviously. Let's cover off. Undo the electron. Oh, I got ahead of myself. Fuel line. Undo the fuel line. Cap off. So this little electronic module helps control the throttle. There we go. Carburetor out. Now that we've got the carburetor off, we'll get down here. All right. So we'll pop the float bowl off. So those of you that aren't familiar with the carburetor, this is your float. You got a pin here that will allow us to remove the float, and you'll have your needle right here. This is your needle and seat. That controls the amount of fluid, of gas, when it comes in, fills that bowl up, give the carburetor fuel accessible. So right here is your main jet, and you got to be careful with this. You don't want to bung up the threads inside that channel, or you're in trouble. There we go. There's our main jet.
Hey. Ready for a sandwich?
Part of that carburetor that needs to come out, part of the jet system that needs to come out, is kind of poking up right there, so just gonna push on it. Oh, there we go. And there we go. So I would suspect that I've got some gunk in here that's giving me problems. So we're gonna spray this with carb cleaner really well. Probably gonna get it all over me myself. And you will recall the good old days when I smelled like carb cleaner all the time. hopefully just had some varnish. It actually looks pretty clean, but I'm thinking I must have some varnish or gunk in here. Actually, use that compressed air I went and got. Really, when it comes to carburetors, everything needs to be pretty clean. The problem is with all the ethanol in gas now, you can get varnish buildup fairly quickly on these things, and then they start running like, well, they start running poorly. How about we put it that way? That's really about it. You clean up the rest of the carburetor, spray through all of the orifices. Make sure we got no blockage. This carburetor cleaner that I bought is not the greatest as it pertains to being under pressure at all. So I'm glad I had a little compressed air. Of course, I could fire up my compressor. I don't want to get any of this stuff in my eye. But really not too bad of a job. Well, not too bad of a job if it works, right? That's the key. Literally just a couple of minute job once you get everything done. Now obviously you want to make sure that you reassemble this correctly, and in this case it goes in like this. This end right here is going to go in first, and then our main jet goes back in, and again, you got to be really careful in screwing these in. Basically just screw it in tight. But don't, again, this channel is full of threads, obviously. You don't want to burr or bung that up, or then you're in trouble. Alright, once that's in, then we put our bowl back on. Put our pin back in. Just like that. Put our bowl back on. Like this. Just snug that down. Remember, you're dealing with aluminum. Don't want to strip that out. And then we go back together. should be good to go. One of the things that I did with both my Honda generators shortly after I bought them is I bought a little magnetic oil dipstick, which I think is helpful. There's no oil filter on these things, so having that little dipstick in there, you know, which is magnetized, is helpful in the long run to keeping the engine going. So, since I've got it out, check the oil. So as you can see, I got a little bit of stuff on that magnet. Maybe you can see it. I can see it. Alright, so we'll turn the fuel back on. It's going to take a couple of cranks to start this, obviously, but we'll make sure we don't have any fuel leaks. So this is where I'm going to end this one. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe and follow Angie, Jazz, and I on our journey. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road.